No one likes to talk about it, but sometimes the soul speaks, in whispers the heart can't ignore. In the quiet corners of daily life, subtle changes begin to surface. A soft sigh, a fading appetite, a gaze that lingers somewhere far away. These aren't just signs of aging. They may be gentle signals that an elderly woman is entering her final season. This isn't about fear. It's about love, presence, and preparing our hearts to honor her final chapter with grace. Because when you recognize the signs, you're given a sacred gift, the chance to make her last days truly meaningful. There comes a moment when tiredness becomes something more, something deeper, not the usual fatigue after a long day, not the kind that's soothed by a nap or a good night's sleep. This is a quiet, consuming exhaustion that settles into the bones and whispers of something greater unfolding. An elderly woman who once rose with the sun, who moved through her routines with grace and quiet strength, now finds herself struggling to do the smallest things. Putting on socks feels like climbing a mountain. Walking to the mailbox becomes a journey. Even conversation becomes labor. Her once lively voice now soft, her words fewer, her smiles more fleeting. At first, she may say she just overdid it or didn't sleep well. "I'll be better tomorrow," she might say with a tired smile. But tomorrow comes, and the weight remains. It's not just physical, it's emotional and spiritual too. A heaviness that cannot be explained, only felt. You may notice her sitting more, sleeping longer, or quietly staring out the window as if listening to something beyond this world. And this is the moment when many families miss the deeper meaning. We chalk it up to age. We tell ourselves she's just slowing down. But the truth is, her body is beginning to shift its focus inward. The systems that once powered her through motherhood, work, laughter, and life are now redirecting their precious energy. Blood flow slows, digestion becomes secondary. Her body begins to preserve what little vitality it has left for the most basic functions: breathing, heartbeat, stillness. This type of fatigue is not laziness or depression. It is, in many cases, the body preparing for the end. And yet, there is a quiet beauty in recognizing this. When you know what you're seeing, you begin to respond differently. You sit beside her instead of urging her to move. You offer her comfort instead of solutions. You treasure each word, each sigh, each gaze. Because in this sacred slowing down, there is an invitation to hold space, to give peace, and to walk gently with her as she begins the soft surrender from this life to whatever lies beyond. Sometimes, the face tells the truth long before words ever do. You look at her, this woman you've known and loved for so long, and something feels different. You can't quite explain it. Maybe it's the color of her cheeks, now paler than you remember. Maybe it's the way her skin has thinned, delicate as parchment, revealing the faint blue map of her veins. Or maybe it's her eyes, those once bright windows to her soul, now distant, soft, as if gazing into places you can't quite follow. These are not just changes that come with aging. These are quiet messengers of something more tender, more final. In the final chapter of life, the body begins to speak through subtle shifts. The skin, once plump with circulation, glowing from within, now loses that youthful radiance. There may be a coolness to the touch, a slight gray or sallow undertone, as if the color is gently slipping away. Bruises bloom more easily, small scratches take longer to heal, and the texture becomes paper thin. These are the signs of a slowing current beneath the surface, a body that is turning inward, saving its strength for the sacred act of letting go. But it's not just the skin, it's the expressions too. Her once expressive face may now rest in stillness, not because she feels nothing, but because her energy is being rationed. The smile that used to arrive so quickly now takes longer to surface. Her brows don't lift in surprise, as they once did. You may notice a serene neutrality, a soft gaze that floats somewhere between now and forever. Some call it the death stare, a look not of fear, but of distance. It is as if she is standing at the shoreline, eyes fixed on the horizon, waiting for the tide. There may even be days where she seems to age overnight. Wrinkles deepen, cheekbones become more pronounced. The change is subtle but undeniable, and often heartbreakingly swift. Families often miss this moment, brushing it off as a bad night's sleep or simply part of growing older. But for those who pause and really see her, these are sacred signs. Signs that time is folding in, that the body is whispering its farewell. In these moments, don't look away. Instead, look closer, with love, with reverence. Her face tells a story that words never could. And in honoring what you see, you are bearing witness to something deeply human, achingly beautiful, and profoundly sacred. There was a time when food was a joy. A slice of warm pie on a Sunday afternoon, the comfort of a favorite soup simmering on the stove, a gentle indulgence in something sweet, just because. For many older women, food has never just been about nourishment. It has been about connection, celebration, and memory. So when that connection begins to fade, it's not just the body speaking, it's the spirit too. In the final stages of life, the body begins to pull back from the routines that once defined our days. One of the most telling signs is a noticeable loss of appetite. It starts subtly, a few bites left untouched, a soft, "I'll eat later," that never quite becomes now. Foods that once brought comfort begin to feel heavy, tasteless, or unnecessary. Even longtime favorites lose their spark. The meals she once prepared with love or enjoyed with laughter now sit untouched, as if her body no longer calls for them. Soon you may notice her drinking less as well. A glass of water remains half full, her lips dry, her skin less supple. She eats a few bites, takes only a few sips, and gently sets everything aside. This is not stubbornness, this is biology. The body, sensing the end, begins to shut down its need for food and water. Digestion slows, hunger fades. The internal systems that once processed every meal with efficiency now prioritize only the most vital tasks: rest, breath, stillness. Perhaps the most alarming change is rapid weight loss. Her clothes hang looser, her face appears more hollow, her hands more delicate. There may be visible signs of muscle wasting, a condition known as cachexia that can occur even if she tries to eat. Her body simply can't absorb nourishment as it once did. This kind of transformation is not about dieting or skipping meals. It's a quiet surrender of the physical self. To witness this is heartbreaking, yes, but it's also a sacred reminder to shift our focus. Instead of pushing plates and pleading for bites, this is the time for comfort over calories. Offer soft foods if she'll take them. Hold her hand through quiet meals and cherish the moments of presence more than the portions. Because in this season, love is no longer measured by how much she eats, but by how gently we sit with her as she lets go. There's a subtle silence that begins to settle in, a quiet turning inward that feels both gentle and profound. The woman you once knew to be the heart of the room, the one who laughed at family dinners, chimed in during conversations, and loved the small rituals of connection, slowly begins to drift into a world of her own. It doesn't happen all at once. At first, she might simply decline an invitation here and there. "I'm just tired today," she says softly. "Next time." But over time, next time becomes less certain, and the phone grows quieter. She still loves you. That never changes. But the way she loves begins to look different. It becomes quieter, softer, more presence than participation. She may sit silently in her favorite chair, listening to the rhythm of voices around her, but not joining in. Family gatherings feel overwhelming. Long conversations become too much. She seems content just to be in stillness, in thought, in her own sacred space. What once brought her joy, visiting friends, chatting on the phone, hearing about your day, now takes more energy than she has to give. This isn't depression. It isn't rejection. It's a soulful transition, a gentle loosening of the bonds that once tied her so closely to this world. Many elders, especially women who have spent lifetimes tending to others, begin to sense when the end is near. They may not say it aloud, but they feel it. And in response, they begin to withdraw, not out of sadness, but out of instinct, as if they are preparing themselves, emotionally, spiritually, for what comes next. In these moments, the most loving thing we can do is to meet her where she is. Don't push, don't prod. Simply sit beside her in the silence. Hold her hand. Let her know she's not alone. Sometimes, our presence speaks more than any words ever could. And sometimes, the most meaningful conversation happen in the quiet, where love is felt, not spoken. If she begins to talk about old memories, people long gone, or dreams that feel otherworldly, listen with reverence. She may be looking back, not to remember, but to reconnect with those who wait on the other side. And when she does, honor it as something sacred. Because in her gentle withdrawal, she is not disappearing. She is preparing for a beautiful homecoming. There comes a moment when the mind, once so sharp and familiar, begins to drift like a feather caught on the wind. It's not just a name forgotten or a birthday misplaced. No, this is something different, more tender, more mysterious. An elderly woman who once recalled every detail of every holiday, who remembered the sound of each grandchild's laugh, now pauses mid-sentence, her thoughts slipping through her fingers like sand. You see it in her eyes, a flicker of uncertainty, a soft confusion that settles over her like morning fog. At first, it might feel like she's simply having an off day, but soon, the signs become more frequent. She may repeat herself, not realizing she just told that story moments ago. She might ask what day it is, again, or hesitate in a room that once felt so familiar. Then, there are moments even more profound. She begins to speak of things that never happened, or recounts dreams as if they were memories. Sometimes, she talks about loved ones who've long since passed as though they're just outside the door. This isn't always frightening. It can be beautiful too. There's a phenomenon known as terminal lucidity, a mysterious clarity that comes before the end. A woman who has been quiet or confused may suddenly light up with stories, gratitude, and peace. She may smile, laugh, or say things she's never said before. Final gifts, whispered in the soft glow of goodbye. If you witness this shift, resist the urge to correct or challenge her. Let her wander. Let her speak her truth, even if it doesn't align with the facts. What matters now is comfort, not clarity. Love, not logic. Sit beside her and listen with your heart. These are sacred conversations, even when the words don't make perfect sense. Because in the spaces between confusion and lucidity, between this world and the next, she is gently preparing to cross a bridge we cannot see. And your presence, calm, loving, unshaken, may be the light that helps guide her home. Pain doesn't always speak loudly. Sometimes it whispers through the quiet shifts of the body, a subtle wince, a deep sigh, a restless movement that betrays the discomfort within. In the final year of life, an elderly woman may begin to experience aches that can't be traced to injury or illness. It may not be the sharp pain of something broken, but rather the aching of something slowing down, something surrendering. Her hands might gently cradle her lower back without realizing it. Her legs may feel heavy, her chest tight, her breath shallow. Not urgently so, but noticeably different. You may see her shifting often, trying to find a comfortable position that never quite arrives. You may offer pillows, warm blankets, soothing words, but still her body resists rest. This is not the kind of pain a pill can always reach. It is the ache of a body that has weathered decades of love, loss, laughter, and labor, and is now quietly signaling that it is tired, truly, deeply tired. The circulation slows, muscles weaken, the heart beats softer, the body begins to conserve its strength, and in that conservation comes a stillness often mistaken for mere aging. But look closer, there's a heaviness in her steps, if she still walks. There's a chill in her skin, even when the room is warm. Swelling may appear in her hands or feet, a gentle puffiness that speaks to a body retaining more than just fluid. It holds the weight of farewell. And yet this stage is not without grace. It offers us an invitation, not to fix, but to comfort. We become the warm hands that rub her shoulders, the quiet voice that reads her favorite book, the presence that doesn't rush or demand, but simply stays, a warm bath, a soft scarf, a hand held longer than usual. These become acts of devotion. If you notice her pain, don't turn away. Let your response be tender, not urgent. Let your care be slow, not rushed, because this isn't just about easing her physical burden. It's about wrapping her in peace, making sure she knows, in every fiber of her being, that she is not alone. That even as her body loosens its grip on this world, she is held, gently, lovingly, all the way through. In the hush of her final season, every moment becomes a gift. Every glance, every touch, every breath, a sacred thread in love's tapestry. Though the path ahead may be tender and uncertain, your presence can light the way. Sit with her, see her, love her fiercely and softly, all at once. Because in the quiet goodbye of a well-lived life, what remains isn't sorrow, it's grace, wrapped in memory and held forever in the heart.